I think it was basically like an FU moment. That was like a realization for me that my life was like out of order. And then that's where I was like, okay, my food, my boundaries. And that was the biggest thing is I realized that it was actually like a boundary thing. I spent just working on myself and I said, I don't care about food anymore. Like, I don't know, it just clicked, it snapped. And there was obviously times where I wanted to binge or overeat. I was in like a working on myself mode and to kind of like feel again. And so every time I had an urge to binge, what I would say that comforted me or got me through that is I was like, let me just feel this. Like this, because the binging was a response to an uncomfortable emotion. And I was like, let me just let this pass through me. An exercise that I do with my clients is when they have something that, because, food issues mirror life issues. And that's most of the work that I do has nothing to do with food. It's actually all just about your mindset and where you are. And when women have a lot of regret or something is holding them, then I say, write a letter to your past self. I'm now an evolved version of you, and I'm moving forward. I'm bringing us to the next stage.
How was your relationship with food and just the environment?
So my food, I think that the move really amplified or shone a light on how healed I was. Germany is so different culturally, and that was a massive thing for me. And I struggled a lot in the beginning, and I took it as a challenge to Germanify myself. And one of the biggest things is learning the language.
Hi guys, before we dive into today's episode, I've got a quick favor to ask. If you've been enjoying the conversations here on Zen and Now, whether it's helped you reflect, grow, or just feel a little bit more seen, take a second to hit that subscribe or follow button on whatever platform you're listening on. Subscribing means you won't miss a single episode, and it also helps more people discover the show, people who might really need these kind of real and honest conversations. And if you're feeling extra generous, leave a quick rating or review. It honestly makes a huge difference and keeps the podcast going strong. Thank you so much. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Zen and Now, the space for slowing down and having honest conversations about what it means to feel at home in ourselves. Today, I'm joined by Bronwyn Elizabeth, a South African-born chemical engineer turned health coach, now living in a sunny Germany, if you know what I mean. In this episode, we explore her journey with food, anxiety, control, and how healing came not from trying harder, but from listening more deeply. This isn't a conversation about fixing yourself. It's about awareness, compassion, and rebuilding trust within your body. Wherever you're listening from, take a deep breath, settle in, and welcome to the show.
Awesome. I'm so happy to be here. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for accepting my invitation to be on the podcast. I think when I saw your Instagram page and what you're doing, not just with food and what it means to you and what it meant to you, I was immediately, I got to get her on the podcast and maybe let's see if she can share her story, because I know there's a lot of people out there, in that space right now where they're just unable to navigate, with their relationship with food, and real life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That was me for the longest time. And that's why I speak out now on social media, because I want to be me that I wish I had. And so I also hear from so many women. I work with women all the time, and it's that constant internal quiet struggle. And it's so taboo.
Mm-hmm.
But I love how you want to bring this out, have a conversation that's in public. That's what I want to do. And I see more and more there are some women online and men speaking about this, because it's so important, because it's the one thing that I think we all pretend is okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just another thing that you're pretending to manage. And it's a quiet prison, let's say.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to be here and to talk about it.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to have you here as well. So, Bronwyn, let's go back to, just your upbringing, your life in South Africa, where we were born, and, what was that upbringing like for you?
So South Africa is a wonderful place to grow up. Now looking back at it, and I actually had quite a different childhood experience. My dad is a horse trainer, so I was immediately different in that way. My dad wasn't a lawyer or an accountant or worked at an investment bank or anything else. And so we spent our weekends with the horses, at the horse track, at the yard, at the out in nature. And so that was really cool. But so I would say I started in Joburg. So I grew up in Joburg at first, and then I moved to Durban. And that also added a whole nother dimension to things. Growing up in Joburg, I never really knew of Indian people. And as a young kid, like I'm completely innocent. And then I went to Durban for the first time, and I asked my mom, because obviously growing up in South Africa, we have so many different cultures and races and everything.
Yeah.
And so it's never really a topic to talk about that someone is different. There's just different people. So it was never a discussion, oh, there's these different types of people. I moved to Durban as a young child, and I'm like, Mom, what are these people? They're so different, and so that was now a whole nother cultural experience. And that was so awesome growing up in Durban. I went to a school that was predominantly Indian, and I'm obsessed with curry. So, and chops chutney.
Yeah.
Chops chutney at a restaurant. You can only get that at your friend's house.
Yeah. If you don't know what chops chutney is, it's just lamb mutton in curry based. But yeah, the way it's prepared, you got to experience it yourself.
Right. And it's always the auntie when you come over, or the mom, and there's always food available for you. So I had a wonderful, healthy experience around food, and I had hardworking parents. My mom was a lawyer as well. She quit being a lawyer so she could be more of a present mom, and they started their business together. So my mom and my dad were business partners. She worked from home so she could be a full-on mom.
Right.
And a business partner, and my dad ran the yard. So he was working on the weekends every single day from 3 a.m. I remember my dad we also lived far from the horses because we would stay where the schools were the best. My parents held education quite high. I also always joke that I have Indian parents because of those reasons. My parents were very strict. They shaded education. And so so my dad woke up 3 a.m. to drive to the horses, worked all the time. So I was always around high achieving people. I think in my family, the word lazy didn't exist. And my dad always used to joke, he's like, I'm a today person. I'm not a tomorrow person. And I think from that perspective, that was awesome. I honestly had the best family experience, I would say.
And how old were you when you guys moved from Joburg to Durban? Do you remember?
So this is also part of the food thing, is I moved when I was in end of grade 6.
Okay.
So I was always the odd one out. I had a horse trainer father. I was very tall from a young age. I even have a photo of me at the Guinness Book of World Records museum with the tallest man. And I'm standing next to him, and I was in grade 6, and I was like already very tall. I can't remember what it was, but it was like 1.7 or 1.65 or something as a young girl. I had braces, I had glasses, I had frizzy hair. I was the nerd. I loved fantasy stuff. I loved books. I loved all of those things. And so I was always never really like the cool girl, let's say. And I remember at school in grade 6, there was the one cool girl. Her name was Kelly. She was part of the cool group. She was pretty. She was blonde. She had a pretty mom. And one day at school, she said, I'm on a diet.
Oh,
And that was I couldn't believe it at 12 years old. I mean,
yeah.
now looking back, but at the time I had never heard of this before because my mom was always she never criticized her body. That was the one thing. My mom never spoke badly about herself. She never commented on her body. She never commented on other people's bodies. We also never got compliments or worth based on how we looked. We were always complimented on the things we did, the people we were, the sport we played,
Yeah.
etc. And so for me, hearing that, I was like, a diet. And then I immediately put two and two together. For me, I was like, okay, the cool girl was going on a diet, which she didn't need. I also couldn't understand this concept. She was thin. She was a young 12-year-old girl. And I was like, I'm going to go on a diet.
Oh,
I didn't even know what that meant.
You just wanted to fit in, basically.
I just wanted to fit in,
Yeah.
right? And for me, feeling left out all the time, obviously that sadness or rejection translated as like no value or no purpose or no happiness. And I was like, okay, if I fit in, then I have purpose and value and happiness. Shame. Then I moved at the end of that year, I moved to Durban. And so now I started a new school and I had a new friend group and whatever. And I actually was part of the cool group.
Okay.
So I had dieted, what I thought it was restricting my food. My parents didn't know I was 12 years old. I was skinnier, even though I was already very thin. And then now I went to a new school. I was the lead in the school play. The boys were buying me cupcakes at break. The girls wanted to hang out with me. I was like, this is happiness, worth, value, purpose. And then I went into high school and it just got worse. I feel like part of what fueled this is that I went to a co-ed school. So I think that because there was boys fueling the girls and the girls trying to impress the boys and competing with each other, or maybe it was just my experience. But I think that the co-ed thing did maybe make it worse for me. And so I restricted, and I was skinny and I was getting attention. And all through this time, I was also kind of like rebelling against my parents because I think I grew up with such a healthy family. I was like, this is weird. Why aren't you the cool parents that give me tuck money and leave me alone and don't pay attention and give me to the nanny? Like I was like, why can't you be a cool parent that just lets me go to the mall and, never care about me? So I would, I rebelled against my parents and I think I gave them a lot of trouble. And then, but I was still pretty good at my grades. I was an A student. And then my parents sent me to a traditional Christian all-girls school. And this was awesome for me because it was more like a sisterhood. There was no judgment. There was no competing for boys' attentions. And nobody cared. We were all just girls at a school together. There is obviously some experiences where girls feel like it's worse, it's bitchy or whatever. Not for me. That wasn't my experience. And so this is where I had a bit of a breakthrough. I stopped wearing contact lenses because I was like, my glasses are cool enough. I also, the first term that I got to this new girls' school, I absolutely flunked maths. I nearly failed. It was like, the pass rate in South Africa is not great anyway. It's like 45%. I think I got 48 or something. And as an A student, that was quite a shock to me. And at the same time, there was an old girl that came to our school hall and did a talk about studying and where to study and, her university experience and whatever. She had graduated chemical engineering at Stellenbosch University and she was working in sustainable energy. Her, it just looked remarkable. She was so beautiful and so well spoken. And I was just like, okay, that's it. So I went to my C class maths teacher because obviously I'm not going to get into engineering with 45, 48% maths. So I went to my C class maths teacher because I was in the C class, obviously. And I said to her, I want to get into the A class and I want to get into engineering. And my C class teacher said, okay, let's do this. So it was the most awesome thing ever. I think during that time, my food noise was much lower because now suddenly I had
Right.
purpose,
Right. Yeah,
or,
exactly. Yeah.
and so I went to every single extra maths class. I actually made a deal with my home class teacher. You're not allowed in the classrooms during break, but I made a deal with her. I'm studying maths. Please, can I stay in the classroom during break? So every break I was in the classroom studying maths, and I got all the way to the A class. I was so happy. Now it comes time to the matric exams. My C class maths teacher sees me walking down the corridor to the hall to
Yeah.
write the matric exam. And she pulls me aside and she says, Bronwyn, you're going to get an A today. And I almost cried because I was like, wow, we did this. Like, I'm actually getting emotional now. And then
Okay.
I was like, I actually just want to get an A for her because she was so pivotal in this experience. And when I got the acceptance letter to chemical engineering at Stellenbosch University, I cried because I just thought about my maths teacher.
Mm.
So yeah, that was awesome. So I got into engineering. And I had only applied to Stellenbosch. That was also, I was like
That's
very
it.
laser focused on, I'm very, that's why I had many eating disorders. I was so fixated on things. And so I guess that's an advantage and also a disadvantage.
Mhm.
So I was fixated on Stellenbosch, chemical engineering, and my second choice was art. Can you believe it? I was either going to study chemical engineering or visual arts.
Okay.
Um,
Two totally different, one left brain,
totally.
one right brain.
So I actually am not good at maths and science. Naturally, my aptitude, I did lots of aptitude tests in school. We all did. It was never maths. It was always art, drama, public speaking, debating, anything to do with the creative side. And I don't know. I just thought like I have the same brain as everyone else. Why can't
Why? Yeah,
I?
exactly. Yeah,
Like just because I'm not naturally good at it doesn't mean I can't get good at it.
for sure.
So then I got into engineering, and I was definitely out of my depths. I
Yeah.
mean, coming from 48% to just getting an A to get in. I mean, I wasn't like 90%. I was just getting in. And so I was really out of my depths. And then I decided to take a gap year to work and study maths and science again to up my
Your grades.
skills.
Okay.
Well, not up my
Not your
grades,
grades,
but
but
just
your okay.
yes. And this time again, food was a problem again. So
Mm.
every time that I had this worth dip or this situation where my value was dipping, my sense of purpose, my sense of happiness was dipping, then, or I didn't have another distraction, food was an issue again. And it was either an issue that I restricted and I became super skinny, or I had bulimia, or I was binge eating. Whatever it was always a fallback to the food, as if, because I mean, now looking back, I can say what it was, but at the time, I really had no idea what was going on. But I
Mm.
mean, it was more so that I wanted a distraction from myself, that I wasn't happy in myself. My confidence relied on external things, whether it was getting an engineering degree, being the pretty girl,
Uh-huh.
um, saving the world with sustainable energy, um, being a workaholic. It was never Bronwyn. My confidence didn't come from within. And so when I outsourced my confidence, and then those sources of confidence were gone, because that's what happens, you can't rely on the external,
Yeah.
then food was a way to numb that again.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
And, just listening to your story now and, it's such growth and takes so much strength to actually openly and honestly acknowledge that, food wasn't something that it's used to nourish us. It's used to give us fuel. It's used to, so many things in a positive way. But for your experience, it was more of a comfort thing. You looked at food as comfort for something that was that would take away your pain, basically. And I just look at listening to your story right now, and I feel like you were searching for like kind of like positive role models in every
Mhm.
phase, whether it be the cool girl, or whether it be your parents in that way, or your teacher.
That's very true.
You were looking for something or someone to actually just guide you along, so that you knew where you fit in. But in actual fact, in life, we fit in where we are. We make it happen for ourselves. But it's so difficult to navigate that in societies or certain structures of life, because firstly, one thing, you don't know what you're doing at when you first get into that phase of life, as is like kids in school. We all, I think 99% of us in every aspect is trying to fit in. And it's just the way it is, where primary school for me was like pretty cool, no issues, sports, friends, teachers loved me and everything. And then when high school came, everything went 180.
Mhm.
I wasn't part of the cool group. I was bullied, every single day.
Mm.
It didn't feel like I wanted to be there. Like I always say, I think if I could go back and do it all again, it'd probably be the same, because it shaped me for who I am right now. But
Mhm.
at that moment in time, you hope it would be different, because it's not a nice feeling to be in that space. So I would then turn to, uh, you know, uh, explicit content for comfort or something. That's, like you said, food was that for you. So we search for something that brings us that comfort. And I feel
Mhm.
like every phase of life we go through that, and it's very difficult to get over that or get through that without anybody
Mhm.
helping you along, or just having the knowledge. Because, like you said, in our societies, we don't really speak about taboo subjects that's gonna
Mhm.
be uncomfortable. Hence why a lot of the discussions right now are very sensitive, because it's hitting people where the core is your core problem exists. And when to go deep, really deep, it's very dark. You have to go through that dark moments to come out to the other side. Uh, and I never understood it until I actually went through my own journey, which I'll share later. Uh, but it's such a beautiful story. It's such a beautiful journey. If you think about it, it's nasty, it's dirty, but there's so much of growth. There's so much of wealth of knowledge that you experience for yourself. And I think that's where I think we're all coming to is, uh, having that journey. Yeah, we all say, let's go on the journey, but what does that journey mean? What does it mean for you? In your story, uh, it included, just confidence, hard work. And that's why you said you weren't good at math, but you put in the work and it reaped its
Mm.
rewards.
Yeah, definitely. I love how you said that you wouldn't change anything. You hope that it would be different, but at the same time, you wouldn't change
Hmm.
anything. And I couldn't agree more. And I actually um, had a moment where I judged my past self.
Hmm.
Recently, I made a reel where I went through my journey. And going to make that reel, I have to go through old photos. And I go through my old photos, and I have a few friends that have been with me for a long time. So they've seen all the phases of me. And they also relate to me in a lot of what I went through because they did modeling, they had problems with
Hmm.
food, etc. And I send a photo of myself during a bad phase where I was very inflamed, very overweight. And I make fun of myself and I'm like, shame. And I sent this to my friend. And she said to me, you know, we need to be more compassionate to our past selves. And I was like, absolutely. Like, as you quite rightly said, it is a dark and strange journey, but at the same time, it is so beautiful because when I was going through my worst, I promised myself, one, that I'm going to solve this and get through this and heal properly, fully heal to my core. And two, I promised myself that I will help other women in some way. I didn't know that that would manifest into a business or whatever it is, but I knew that I had to get through this journey, and I knew that there was more to this. And at the same time, I wanted to share this with other women because I know that 99%, I will put my head on a block for this. 99% of women, yes, men too, but let's be honest, women face a lot of, looks issues. Ageism is a big one. We're not allowed to get old. We're not allowed to be overweight or old or ugly or whatever. And so I know that that is what women struggle with in some way or another. Maybe not as bad as I had it, but in some way or another, all women use food to manipulate their worth.
Yeah.
When their worth is from the inside. It is, yeah. And as you spoke about now on role models, you're so right. I specifically was outsourcing my confidence, my role models, my inspiration. But now when I've truly come into myself, like descended back into my body, my worth and inspiration comes from within me. Obviously, there's a wonderful array of inspiring people in the world.
Of course.
But ultimately, I'm so happy and proud to say that I'm the driver, you know?
Of course.
And
Yeah.
I think for everyone, I think that's so important. I actually, Rolene Strauss wrote a book. You know Rolene Strauss. She was Miss SA.
Yeah.
She wrote a book. She had a similar experience where she was also outsourcing her confidence to her master's degree, being Miss SA, being a doctor, blah, blah, blah. And so she went through the experience of your, your true, unwavering self-confidence is not based on all those things. It's based on you as a person.
Yeah. It doesn't matter doesn't come from external factors. Comes from within.
Exactly. Definitely. And speaking about Rolene Strauss, actually, that was also a big part of my food issue, was not Rolene Strauss, but it reminds me now.
Yeah.
Is, as I said, my childhood was really healthy. My mom had a super healthy body image, but my grandmother. So I had never had a relationship with my grandmother until about 15. She came into our life. There was other problems, but at 15, she came into our life again, and she was so fixated on how I looked. I got lots of modeling offers my whole life, and my mom always declined them because she said, school and sport is your focus. You don't need to do modeling. My gran wanted me, she would always ask me, always comment on my weight, whether I put on weight or lost weight. She would tell me all the stories of how she was skinny and how she became skinny and all the tricks she had. And so, it's sad because her entire worth was all about how thin and good looking she was for men. And that at the time I actually enjoyed it because it validated me and It validated my need and desire to find these tricks and things to get skinny and to be more desirable. But that, was a big part of my food issue. And speaking about how it's connected with Rolene Strauss is, my gran would always comment and compare me to other women. When Rolene Strauss won Miss SA in 2014, she phoned me immediately and said, "Have you seen the front news, the front cover of the You magazine? Rolene won." And she said, "You're so much more beautiful than Rolene. You should have entered." I
get it. Our grandmothers.
Women, we are different people. Why are you comparing me to Rolene? And Rolene is so beautiful, not just in how she looks, in the person that she is. And so that was always just like a red thread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that in our society. Oh, have you seen what this one did? Did you see what that one did? You're never like concentrating or focusing on our accolades or our accomplishments. It was never, or maybe in other households, they probably were like, "Have you seen what we did. So it was
Yeah.
everybody, I think, was doing the same thing, comparing their kids or whoever it was to other people, and not. I don't
Mhm.
know where it comes from. It still baffles me till to this day of why would we actually do that?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea where it comes from? Because like for me, I don't
I
understand.
mean,
Maybe it's just generational. The way society, the way each generation grew up and what was required at that point in time. Like for our grandparents, it was probably just building a family and being the caregivers, or and then later on in our parents was okay. We need to transition from just not being parents, but also uh, making sure that our kids have the best of what they didn't have, and so on and so forth.
yes, true. And I think it's also maybe a cultural thing, or because when I speak to um, my Indian friends, they have a big pressure from their families.
Mm,
They always compared with each other. Oh, this one's a doctor. This one's an
exactly.
accountant. He's earning more than you. La la la. And so you have this pressure, monetary, but also we're running out of time. Why don't I have grandkids yet? And then I also have that from my staunch Afrikaans friends. They shame. My one friend said to me the other day, she's 26, by the way.
Still a
I'm 32.
baby.
She's still a baby.
Still a
So she's
baby.
26. And she said to me that she feels this. I don't know. No, she said that she felt a bit of liberation because now she's not interested in men. She's not focused on this. And this is quite liberating for her because there's so much pressure or whatever. And I said, what do you mean there's pressure? You're 26. You just developed your frontal lobe like
Exactly.
last year.
Yeah.
And she said, no, Bronwyn, where I come from, like a religious Afrikaans community, my time is ticking. And so I'm old
Wow.
in
So
that.
what are we?
And so I'm like, I'm perfectly happy where I am. Thank you.
Exactly.
But yeah, maybe it varies culture to culture, family to family. But yeah, we do that. We're always comparing. And I mean, social media doesn't make it any better.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. I mean, how do you feel about that? Because for you, social media is such an awesome tool. I mean, look at you sharing these great things. And so I think it's a way to connect, it's a way to learn, it's a way to share experiences. But do you have any children?
No, I'm not. I don't
Okay.
have any kids yet.
Okay. I
Uh,
was about to say for children, I don't know how I'm going to handle that.
yeah,
I,
no. We decided very early on in our marriage that kids is not something that's part of our journey or our relationship, and we had that discussion up front very early. So if anybody's listening, uh, my wife always says like the most important discussions to have real upfront in any relationship is family, money, and children. Uh,
yes.
so if you can look, it's not perfect all the time, but if you come to some form of understanding, it helps
Okay.
with getting to know your partner. And in terms of social media, I think for me, I also have to be very careful um, with what is being consumed from my end and what I'm putting out.
Mhm.
Yes, there's sometimes I do get carried away, and sometimes I don't really think about uh, the environment around me, because not everybody wants to be in your shot. Not everybody wants to be filmed, or not everybody wants to be uh, you know put online. So
Mhm.
for me, very early on, I had to realize, okay, I have to be mindful of when I'm recording, what I'm posting, environments I'm capturing. Uh, and then just actually last year, um, I was actually financially scammed, and we, it was at a moment in time where both of us, my wife and I, we were going through such a very heavy load in terms of life, and because she had experienced a medical, um, traumatic experience, and I was managing her work, podcasting. So I think it became encompassing and became heavy. And I was still on social media at the time, and I realized, okay, it's time to take a break. It's time to, and then thankfully that was just before we left for South Africa. So
Mhm.
we took a bit of time and to really focus on ourselves, because social media can also, like you said, for me, it can consume a lot. I have to be mindful of when to stop, because I have that kind of addictive personality. Because if something I like, I will consume it until, it kind of like becomes a problem. So
Mhm.
I had to learn how to manage time. And thankfully now with technology, with applications, you can restrict your time on your
Do you
phone,
and you
right?
use that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. So like at certain moments, it blocks all my apps. I can't use them until the
How
next
do you
day.
really? You can't at all.
Yeah, well,
Like,
you
there's no
can, you can. It gives you an option to say, okay, it gives you a nice summary of, oh, just take a break, maybe go do something else, or do you want to use the app, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I like that because it's reinforcing that you should take a break now.
yeah, yeah,
Like, you mean you can choose,
yeah.
but
But no,
yeah.
it does become heavy. It does become because there's so much of how would you say mindfulness content that's not really aligned,
Yeah,
right? And
absolutely.
you can get caught up with you because the algorithm picks up. It's so smart like that. As soon as, even while we're speaking right now, you probably after this go to your phone and we probably have like a lot of adverts like on social media and apps that can help you just
Make a
watch.
podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's so true. So when I went to South Africa at the beginning of December because so there's a word in German. It's so cool. It doesn't exist in English. It's called Fernweh, which means far pain or away pain.
Mhm.
So it's not homesickness. Homesickness is something different. That's where you're sick for home. But now you're sick to be away, like from where you are. There's no specific place. And so my husband recognized, he's like, no, you have Fernweh. You need to
Uh,
go back to South Africa.
just to
Anyway, I went, yeah, just to recoup my Fernwehness.
right, right.
And when I came back, he didn't come with me. And then I came back just before Christmas. So between Christmas and New Year's was just like me time with my husband. And I put my phone away. I was not on it for 7 days.
Wow.
And recognized, I mean, it was so wonderful, so refreshing. Because my husband's the coolest person ever. Like, he's my best buddy. So I do not get bored hanging out with him all the time. But besides that, it was so nice to put my phone away because I recognized how much time there is in the day.
Exactly.
I was there all this time. This time just came from not flipping scrolling.
Exactly.
Like, it's like, oh, I just have 5 minutes till my meeting, scroll. Oh, I just have 5 minutes for this, scroll. Oh, just if you added all those 5 minutes and you went for a walk or you took a deep breath or you just like made a cup of tea, your day, I think, would be so much more enriched than all these little 5-minute scrolls. Yeah, so crazy. So I actively now put my phone away every night.
Do you leave it in
And
the room, or because
I do.
we leave our
Yeah.
phones outside of the room. We don't keep it in the room.
Oh no. Oh, you mean in the bedroom? No,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
do
yeah.
have my bedroom for my alarm, but when I have like, you know, I was about to say Feierabend. See, this is what happens when you speak another
That's
language. Then
okay.
you
That's
forget.
okay.
Like after work time, I put it in the bedroom, and I'm
Okay,
like, no,
done.
yeah. I think that's also about being present, hey, and about being in your body. Like, I stress that so much. Like, just coming back into your body instead of um
Mindfully,
yeah,
just
being in another world, mindless, being absolutely mindless.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like
So
social media also, with a lot of the food content and the messages out there on everyone posting their lives, no one really, I don't think 90% of people actually post their real lives, to be honest.
mm-mm.
So,
No.
and I think also, like you said, now the younger generation, uh, they're influenced very easily. Like you said, they like yours when we were at that age. Also, we just wanted to be part of a group, or we wanted to be accepted. But knowing that now we just had to accept ourselves. We didn't have to be
Mhm.
part of any group. And that's the message I kind of like want to share, is that you don't have to be a part of any group to feel accepted. Once you feel
Mm-mm.
accepted within yourself, everything then around you becomes, that halo moment, you get
Yes.
like that
Yeah,
energy, that
absolutely.
aura just becomes part of you. And then whatever you meant to attract, you will, and whatever you meant to repel, will leave you. And that's the kind of message we're trying to get out now, is to the younger generation, not to be too hard on yourself when you're actually having those experiences. And kind of, if you're unsure of something, ask somebody. Don't be afraid to speak up, because I was too afraid to say, look, I was being bullied. And because, as guys, as men, as boys, we were taught to like kind of deal with those things and man up, and don't be a sissy, don't be those kind of things, right? And
Yeah.
that's why we kind of go within ourselves and we don't really express what we're feeling. And then later on in life, it becomes a problem. And I think with you, correct me if I'm wrong, uh, food was like that. You kind of like went into a little bit of a practice that food was your friend, and emotionally it helped you get through those tough times.
So it was actually the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Food, but I mean, it was a friend in a way, but it was actually my um, slave owner. I was the slave.
Ah, okay.
Um, it was so debilitating. And I mean, actually speaking now about the disadvantages of social media, an advantage would have been if there was somebody like that I saw during that time that I could relate to and see that there was a way out of this prison, because I I I wouldn't have even known who to ask for help or how to ask for help, and I didn't even know that I had a problem actually at that time. So I kind of wish I knew earlier that I had a problem so I could ask for help. Um, but I, I, you know, if I speak to binge eating, eating disorders, food noise, food anxiety to somebody who has never experienced it, it sounds so silly. Like if
Mm,
I tell my husband he has such a wonderful relationship with food, he eats to nourish his body, he plays sport, he eats when he's hungry, he stops when he's full. That's it. So if he went on a meal plan for something specific to fix a specific health issue or whatever it is, he would respond super well to that because
right.
his baseline is so healthy. But me, different story. And if I explain my experiences to him, he doesn't get it, doesn't understand. If I have to explain it for somebody who has not had food anxiety or anything, any food issues, it is literally like you're living a double life. I'm having this conversation with you now, but in my mind, I'm having another conversation. And it's always about food. What did I eat yesterday? What am I eating later? How many calories have I consumed? What am I not allowed? What have I eaten that is forbidden? How must I punish myself? What have I done that I shouldn't have done? Now I'm going to punish myself with food or sabotage myself or reward myself with food. I don't know how this dialogue works, but
Mm,
this that's how the mental illness makes you do things and think about things. It's like either you ate so well in the week that you're like, okay, now I can eat my muffins,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
eat one muffin, you go overboard. Or I didn't study hard enough. Oh well, if this, my day is ruined. I'm just going to lie on the couch and punish myself with food. So yeah, I mean, and so that's it. It just had such a grip on me, and I remember so clearly there was the one day that it was so bad that I would get so excited to go to the Pick and Pay and go get the Pick and Pay hot chips with the nice spice on them
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
the
The
roll
slap chops. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
comes with that and like paprika spice.
Salt
Um,
and vinegar masala. Yeah, I hear you.
exactly. And the garlic roll and everything, and go to my bedroom. And this was, I'm an adult. I'm 25 years old. You know, I have like just developed my prefrontal lobe, and I would just eat myself to a point where I could not feel anymore. and I would just be so numb that I could sleep, and that I would then be able to sleep and forget my life and my world. But then the next morning I woke up again and I had to face it again. And this was just a pattern. So in a way, you could say it was a friend because it literally removed my day for a few hours. But at the same time, I was such a slave to food. And when I tried to reverse engineer this, because I got to that point and I was like, whoa, this is a major problem. And this was also during my final year of varsity. I was diagnosed with depression. I was on a lot of medication. And I even told the doctor, I said, please just make me functionable so I can finish my degree. Because remember, I'm outsourcing my confidence. I have to finish the degree. I have to get my achievement.
Right.
So if I didn't get that, my life would have ended. So all of these things were kind of going pear-shaped. And I said, whoa, I have to fix this. And at that point, had no idea what I was doing. And I tried to fix it following every single other advice online, which was eat in a slight calorie deficit, or eat at maintenance. Oh, just love yourself. Oh, just don't care. And be mindful. But the
What does that mean?
mindful was
What does that mean?
exactly.
Exactly.
So, and still to this day, I'm irked by what's online, because there is only one other woman I have seen that has the approach I have. Every single other binge eating coach, disorder eating coach that I've seen, there's lots of people on social media, maybe I haven't seen all of them, but everyone that I have seen, the mindful eating, the intuitive eating, I get so irritated because it's still under this guise of control and restriction. It's just restriction in another outfit. And it's actually, if you think about where you are in like the safe zone is where you're not binging too much, you're not restricting too much, but you're also not super skinny and you're also not super overweight. You're just in that zone of like holding it together. But so basically, if I can summarize it, it's like there's rules to manage the rules so that it doesn't get out of the safe zone. And for me, that is still controlling your life. You are still not free. You are just in a state of, oh, I'm managing this.
Right. Yeah, that's what my thinking was going towards. And I think it's not being free, totally free. You kind of you're still living by this practice of not being kind to yourself.
Yes, exactly. Like unconditional kindness. I'm not eating this way to be skinny. I'm not eating intuitively to be skinny. I'm not eating mindfully to be skinny. I'm not eating kale smoothies to be skinny. I'm actually just doing this to be unconditionally kind to myself because I love myself, and that is where you find freedom. And what is so wonderful about that is that the byproduct is you will lose the weight if you need to lose the weight.
Exactly.
In my opinion, and this might be controversial, but I believe that every single human being on this planet, except for 1% that has a medical condition, your body is supposed to be slim. It's not supposed to be skin and bones. It's also not supposed to be overweight. The body wants to be at balance. It wants to be in harmony. It wants to be healthy. It doesn't want to carry that excess. That excess weight often means sickness, diabetes, other complications. The body doesn't want to be there. So when we get to a state where we are fully free and living in harmony and balance and zen, the byproduct is your healthier self, which is not just physical, mentally your healthier self, career-wise, relationship-wise, boundary-wise. I mean, I could go on. So, and that's truly what health is to me. Health is not about how much protein did I eat today. Like, it's all just little control mechanisms again. And I mean, if you're how do you say, a top athlete, sure, we need to go into those categories, but how many people are elite athletes?
No, not a
The
lot.
normal human being that spends their 9 to 5 at work, has kids, has a family, that's where their life is. Their life is in less food, more life, you know?
Yeah.
Less control, more abundance, more life, more experiences, more relationships, more feeling. Yeah. So
No,
that
I
I
hear
get
you.
so, I'm so riled up.
No, that's okay because you're passionate
I get
about it. No, that's
passionate
the
about,
thing. When you're passionate about something,
yeah,
it comes through your emotions, right? It comes through,
yeah.
and you really see the authentic self. And I think that's where most of us want to be living is our authentic selves. And sometimes
That's,
life happens, and we kind of have to live in the gray. But sometimes black and white is also part of that as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
tell me about your B12 and the blood tests.
Yeah, we were just feeling really fatigued, and we just didn't understand it because we were uh, eating normally, hydrating, all of that. And when we went to the doctor to get our B12 shots, our blood works, we were because they say what's the level? It has to be like 1,000. Uh, the metric is 1,000. Like you have to be close to 1,000 to be classified as your B12 levels as optimal. But we were really low. I think we were like at 400s or something like that. Uh, uh, and then we were like, wow, we didn't even realize it. And maybe because we were pushing so hard of trying to get I was trying to get the podcast and the mindfulness practice off the ground, because they say when you're setting up roots, it's always the challenge, right? You kind of like put all your energy into it because we were doing a 9 to 5 and then 5 to 9.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's actually the top 3 most stressful things ever in a human's life is divorce, death, and moving home. So
yeah, and thankfully we kind of like caught that very early. And luckily now that we were getting our periodic B12 shots, so now it takes time to your body to get used to it, but we feel a lot better now. And thankfully, I think we were in South Africa at the same time, both of us. We also went early December, returned back to Canada just before New Year's. So I think in that time we were in South Africa together at the same time.
okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the B12 thing, that's so interesting. So I mean B12, I have a little bit of knowledge about plants and how things are grown because I'm an investor. I'm part of a startup. It's a vertical farm based in Somerset West. If you're ever there, you must go check it out. It's so cool. But
Where's the location?
it's at the school now. What's the school's name? It's a school in Somerset West.
Okay.
We're in like partnership with them because we can also give the kids classes like of the vertical farming. It's so cool.
Right.
But I've often done pitch deck talks and talks at conferences to get funding for this for this startup. And through my talks and stuff, I've realized how low our nutrients is in our food today. If you have to take an apple from 100 years ago and get the same nutrients now that's in that apple from 100 years ago, you have to eat 60 apples.
Wow.
So that all comes from poor soil because our soil is so overfarmed and we obviously monocrops the whole spiel. But part of the poor soil is that it's depleted of B12 because the bacteria is not there. So if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you have no hope of getting B12 unless you have your own little organic veggie patch because B12 comes from the bacteria in the soil. So you have to take a supplement. It's just there's no
Right.
question.
Yeah.
But if you eat meat or animal products, you're getting it because the animals are supplemented, because their food is also devoid of B12. So
Yeah.
B12 is not that B12, 60% of America is B12 deficient. So
Oh,
that
yeah,
is
yeah.
so common.
I mean, we see it now in our food as well, like the homogenization of everything. Everything's bigger. The portions are larger. And you think to yourself, okay, that's not cool. That's
No,
not right. A chicken breast not supposed to be that big.
no, definitely not. No, I mean, we can go into the animal thing. Like that's it's like a Frankenstein experiment.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
If you look at even the fruit, I mean, the organic oranges are half the size of a non-organic orange. It's just
Yeah.
wild. But my brother had B12 deficiency because my brother and I are both vegan. Actually, my whole family's vegan. But this was 10 years ago when, we didn't have all this knowledge and stuff. We did it for the animals. And we weren't taking supplements. We didn't know. And he started losing his mind. He thought he was going crazy. And that's a side effect of B12 deficiency. So he was like getting a bit of hallucinations. He was so tired. He didn't know what was going on. And then, oh my gosh, you need B12. And then everything was fine after that. And so now we
Yeah.
take all the time.
Yeah.
And same with our gut health. I mean, my gut health was absolutely shot. And see, everybody says, oh, the vegan diet, the vegan diet. The veganism is an ethos. It has nothing to do with your diet. Your diet is based on obviously the components that are made up in the diet, but you can be vegan and eat fries and Oreos.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can also not be vegan and be extremely healthy and have lots of different variety in your diet and have a great gut health. And so my gut health was so bad that I developed a chronic condition. And I mean, my experience with the medical industry was terrible. I was so gaslit. And I got bounced around. I wasted so much money. And I ended up getting the help that I needed with a homeopath. And thank goodness he helped me reduce my symptoms. But the root of it, that if I wanted to be heal the condition, I would have to start again with my gut health and completely reduce my inflammation. And it actually makes sense now looking back at it, because you know that 90% of your serotonin is made in your gut.
Yeah,
so if your
exactly.
gut health is terrible, you have no chance at having, good mental health. So there we go. There's probably that attributed to my issues around food, my anxiety, my depression, blah, blah, blah. And so if I come back to it now, I'm so clear and I have clarity and I'm healthy. And in my heart, I believe that is because I fixed my gut and my inflammation. So, I mean, tell me about your gut health story.
Yeah, so growing up, I think, just to give a bit of context, I was always an active kid. So I think my metabolism was quite high. So
Yes.
when I was experiencing my anxiety and depressional phase, I realized I wasn't eating normally. My taste palette changed. I was consuming a lot more sugary stuff. I didn't understand it why, because I was never one to love the sweeter side of food. I was always the savory side. And then I started consuming a lot more. You know those chocolate peanuts you get from Woolies, those ones, those chocolate covered peanuts. I was attracted to those things. Sweeter, because when you're going through anxiety and depression, your taste palettes change. I didn't understand it, but only now looking back in hindsight. And I realized, okay, something is not right, because I'm not eating, because I'm a normal, I eat in phases of the day. I don't just eat in one big meal, because I can't. My stomach isn't that big to consume one big meal. I'll just feel lethargic. So I decided very early on in my life that I would have my breakfast and then, a snack, lunch, a snack, and then dinner, right? That would be my makeup of the day.
Amazing. That's actually one of the ways that the blue zones eat. So I don't know if you know about the blue zones and Okinawa. So the blue zones are the areas in the world that have the longest living people, the most
Oh
centurions.
yeah.
And one of them is Okinawa, and Okinawa is famous for ikigai. You know
Oh
ikigai.
yes.
Yes. And another saying that they have, I forget what it is, but they say it every time they're about to eat, like how you would pray, but they say it means 80% full.
Yeah.
So
Eat.
you're always eating to 80% full. And that is actually one of the ways to live to 100. So good job. You learned that
We're
very
trying. We're
early.
trying.
Yeah.
And then also, thankfully, I'm gonna call out again Zinat Simji. Not sure if you heard of her. She's also a nutritionist based out of Cape Town, and she was also on the podcast as well.
Oh,
And
amazing.
so check her out if you want to have learn about
Definitely.
her story. Uh, yeah, she introduced me to mindful eating.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, eat till you get to that point where you feel full, and if you want to come back to it later on, you can. But
Mm-hmm.
don't overindulge yourself where you're gonna feel like you need to finish the pot of food that's there because it's gonna go. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Your gut health is more important than that extra plate that you want to consume. You can always come back to it, no problem.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
that's kind of like now in my mind, okay, I am feeling full. Cool. I'll take a break because I'm a fast eater as well. So
Mm,
I kind of like take a lot of, I think to myself, okay, I'm done now. I can have another portion. No, it's not about that. Take your time, have your hydration, drink your water, take your time while eating. There's no rush. You're not going anywhere. The food's not going anywhere. And we realized, okay, that's where most of our, like you said, anxieties and our serotonin and dopamine hits come from is your gut. If your gut is healthy, everything else, they're all connected. And now we
absolutely.
started taking a probiotic in the morning to make sure that you're getting uh, you're getting both of best of both worlds because you need the bad gut I mean the enzymes also with the good so that your gut gets used to it. Like they
Mm-hmm.
say, every time you go to a new country, the first thing you should consume is yogurt because it has all those all
Yes.
right,
Mhm.
so that
Yeah.
your body gets used to the dairy stuff and then the environment that you're in.
Yeah,
And
definitely. I like, I say, I don't say eat till you're full. I like to say eat when you're hungry and and then stop when you're not hungry. Because
okay,
obviously because when you feel physically full, then it's
mm,
too much.
yeah,
Because now you've passed that 80% Okinawa state. So when
yeah,
you're not hungry anymore, where you're like, okay, I'm not hungry. Like, I mean, I could have more, but now I'm okay to get up and do something else. Like,
yeah,
I'm not like, oh, I need more because I'm hungry. Um, so I think when you think about it that, because for the longest time, I did not know what hungry felt like. And I didn't know
mm,
what full, like good full, not over full, felt like. And that's a lot of women that I work with too, is they eat till they feel physically full, but that's too far
mm,
because
yeah, it's too far.
you're not supposed to be weighed down by food. Food must make you energized. I
It's
mean,
your
you
fuel.
recognize that so quickly. It's like, if I eat too much, I'm tired. We supposed to eat, refuel, carry on with life. Like, eat,
Yeah,
refuel, carry on with life.
exactly.
So I like to say, eat when you're not hungry.
Yeah,
Sorry, stop when you're not hungry.
stop when you're not. Yeah, it's difficult. I think when you in that moment and you see that obviously that protein bar or the chocolate bar and you're feeling that urge to pick it up and consume it. Uh, like for me, I loved gummies growing up because when we were playing cricket or soccer or whatever it was your source of your fuel
Hmm.
basically to recuperate your glucose levels. And nowadays it's more about okay, I only consume it because I get really dehydrated in the heat, so I
Hmm.
need to carry something with me that revitalizes my glucose levels.
Hmm.
Because one story that I'd like to share is that when we first got to Canada, it was the first summer that we were here. We didn't know what to expect, but it was extremely hot and humid like Durban. It has that
Mm-hmm.
stickiness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and we were just walking out and we went into the Staples. So Staples is like your, what do we call it in South Africa or whatever? It's your stationery store,
Okay.
basically. I went down a level and I couldn't move. And I just
Mhm.
felt dehydrated. I had no energy. And in that moment, I realized, oh, shit, I need to have some form of sugary content just to bring my levels back up. So thankfully, I went across the road and got a ginger ale, just to get those levels up.
Mhm.
But in that moment, we both realized, or I realized that we have to carry a bottle of water with us,
Mm.
a snack, and like in Canadian weather, you gotta have to have like a jumper or a jacket or something because it changes so quickly. So those are the kind of things you learn. Uh, Back home in South Africa, it's not something that I did, but
Mm.
moving across the other side of the world, that's something that I knew. Okay, shit, I need to carry a bottle of water and some snack with me. So if I do feel that level decrease, I can replenish in that way. But it comes with learnings, like you said.
Yeah, definitely. I also do that when I go somewhere. Have you tried? So your snacks are still like gummies?
No, so I usually take like a protein a bar with me, protein bar,
Okay.
or nuts, mixed
I mean, there's
nuts.
nothing wrong with gummies. I wanted to suggest something with more fiber because
Yeah,
that
I
is
do
it is
take some nuts with me,
okay.
mixed
Cool. Or
nuts.
like dates. You like dates?
Yeah, so the mixed trail mix with flax
Oh,
seeds,
okay.
and
Yes.
we get them in a pack now.
Yes.
So you kind of trail mix. We just call it trail mix. So it's
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
like,
You know, we also have in South Africa trail mix.
yeah, your relationship with food, and when you were going through anxiety, do you remember, um, what got you through those moments, to come out on the other side?
Um, I think it was basically like an F you moment.
Okay.
It was like, well, to myself, or F this moment, um, where it was my 29th birthday. And with my ex at the time, I was with him, and we had a massive fight, and it was like crazy, and it was so not me. And I was just, that was like a realization for me that my life was like out of order.
Hmm.
And then that's where I was like, okay, my food, my boundaries. And that was the biggest thing is realized that it was actually like a boundary thing. Like I wasn't honoring my body's boundaries. I didn't have healthy boundaries with other people. Um, I wasn't enforcing boundaries. And so that's where that year I spent just working on myself. And I said, I don't care about food anymore. Like, I don't know, it just clicked, it snapped. And there was obviously times where I wanted to binge or overeat, but I was now just working on myself. I was in like a working on myself mode and to kind of like feel again. And so every time I had an urge to binge, what I would say that comforted me or got me through that is I was like, let me just feel this. Like this, because the binging was a response to an uncomfortable emotion. And I was
Yeah.
like, let me just let this pass through me because emotion moves. It's like if you can meditate through it or journal through it or go for a walk or do something to let the emotion, don't push it away, don't fix it, just let it move through you. Because 10 minutes later, you'll probably feel fine. And so
Yeah.
that's what I had to keep practicing. And it was a practice is also women that I work with. They almost think, okay, I tell them all these things that are, blow their mind. They're like, wow, that work, like that makes so much sense. Or yeah, that I must do that. But the fact is that when you come to have the knowledge around what is causing your binge eating or how to solve for it or how to think differently about it, that's where it starts. It's a daily practice. Every day you have to practice and train your neural pathways to teach your body that you're safe, to
Yeah.
teach the body that you're not in famine. And so it's basically taking it step by step, binge moment by binge moment. And every moment that would come up, you actually also have to physically say it aloud, like, Bronwyn, I don't need food. I'm safe. You have to speak it. You have to say it,
yes.
practice it out in the world. It's not your dirty little secret anymore. You are, because for so long it was my dirty little secret. I didn't even acknowledge it to myself. But no, we speak it out into the world. Bronwyn, I don't have time for this. I need to write this email. Bronwyn, I don't need to binge on 5 chocolate bars. I'm just a little bit stressed right now. I will do my tax return. Whatever it is. And so that is probably, one of the top things that helped me through those moments. But then also what changed my life and what changes the lives of the women that I work with is getting very clear on your dream self.
Yeah.
So when I thought about this, and that was also part of that pivotal moment when on my 29th birthday, when I was like, whoa, this is not good, is I realized I was so far away from my dream self, my version of her. I'm not talking about anybody else. Everybody's dream selves is different to them. And for me, I was like, I'm on a completely different path. I need to make interventions to slowly get back on that path. And it's not about reaching a dream self. I don't think that exists. I think it's always journey till the day we die. But I was just like going north and she was going south. And so that's where I started doing little things, living as my dream self every single day. I got so clear on her, what she smelled like, what perfume she wore, how she did her hair, how she dressed, how she spoke when she was angry, how she spoke to herself, how she held a meeting, how she, what language she used, everything. And I would do this through journaling and visualization. Visualization is so powerful because our brain actually doesn't know the difference between reality and what we're visualizing. And so every time I would have a binge urge or to get through those moments of food anxiety or stress, I would visualize, okay, how would she handle this right now? She's not perfect, she's human, but will she pick it up and just keep moving? Will she, like, she's running out of time now will she just do her best and hand in the deadline? Will she just throw all her toys out the cot? Oh, well, the day's ruined. No, she wouldn't do that. She would just do her best with what she has and she would keep it moving. And so every time I would just think of her, and that really is so powerful because when you're lying in bed in the morning and you're snoozing your alarm for the 3rd time, you're like, would my dream self be doing this? Or would she get up and go do a stretch? And then it suddenly becomes so simple. It's like you don't have to fight with yourself anymore because you're like, no, but that's me. I'm going there. And that's probably the biggest message that I want to put on my social media and out to the world is that your future self or your dream self is not in the future. It's a daily practice.
Yeah.
Every single day is molding you and getting you there. And she's waiting for you, or he, whoever. The dream person is waiting for you, but you're standing in your own way. Like, just get out of your own way and just take one small step towards that person. And I also always used to remind myself that if you're improving 1% every day, at the end of the year, it's 365% improvement. You are 3 times the person that you were a year ago. I mean, that's incredible. So for me, every time I have, maybe 2 blocks of chocolate, I'm like, okay, well, I didn't have the whole bar, so let's keep it moving. And then the next day, I'm like, oh, well, I had 1 block of chocolate. Or the next day, I didn't need any chocolate. And I'm like, let's just keep moving every day.
Yeah, it's a constant internal dialogue with yourself.
Yes, you actually have to speak to yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think that it becomes almost like an echo chamber, that you're so, as I said earlier, you have this constant running dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
And you have
noise.
to
it's noise.
Short circuit it. And you short circuit that by actually like screaming physically into the world. Like, not screaming, but making it vocal. And I think that that's also part of like feeling things physically. Like when there's this method of when you're anxious, 5, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
2, 1. Yeah. 5
Yes.
senses.
Yes. And so it's see 5 things, feel
Yeah.
4 things, etc. And like that is being tactile. It's coming back into reality. And when you are faced with a binge urge, you're not within reality. You are so anxious and out of yourself. You're actually not even in your body. And so just bring yourself towards yourself and make these things physical practices. Journal every day. Physically write. Exactly.
So important, or such an important point you made there is I do the same thing, the 5 step thing, just to bring myself, because with me, it's either I'm too far ahead in the future or I'm too far back in the past. And that's where my anxieties stem from. So
That's true.
doing that practice in that moment, I feel, okay, I'm back to reality now. Even simple thing when I'm showering, like if my mind, because in the shower, you kind of like think a lot of things. So you think to yourself, okay, 5 things I can see, or I mean, 5 things I can, whatever the practice was. I mean, I don't remember it offhand, but
I think it's 5 things you can see, 4 things
see,
you can
touch,
3
3
things you
things,
can
smell,
smell.
taste, or smell,
And
2 things you can taste, and 1 thing you can,
yeah, but
something
it's
like that.
all the
It's,
senses, exactly.
yeah. And it's whoever's listening, that's a good practice to do when you kind of like,
Mm.
uh, zoning away from your
Ground
reality or
yourself.
your present self, or your grounding self. That's a good practice. That my therapist actually introduced that to me. And also journaling. I do a lot of trauma logging. So in the moment where I feel something, I kind of just write it down. So at least I'm getting it off my chest or out of my body,
Yes.
and then looking at which zone was activated. So like your fight zone, your flight zone,
That
those
is
kind
so
of zones, when which part of it was activated. So most of my anxiety stemmed from childhood. So
okay.
that's my core issue all stem from my childhood traumas. So that's the part that was making the decisions. That was part of me that was making most of the mistakes. I wasn't cognitively thinking as an adult. It was more of the adult self taking the reins instead of just stepping into my adulthood. But I never knew how to manage that or navigate that. Only now
How did
going through only now going through this journey did I understand, okay, there was that moment, like I said, when I was scammed last year, that was the moment where I was making the mistake as like a child would, not
mm,
thinking about the repercussions or thinking about how it would affect people around me,
mhm,
because I just was, oh, okay, this is something that, would benefit me, but it didn't. And
mm.
when I spoke to my therapist, she kind of like really broke it down for me nicely. And I had to go through a lot of therapy sessions to realize that that was the core problem. And now it's such an aha moment. So now then you can start working on, you know, because working on just that, like the younger self of you will always be there. It's just about saying, hey, I got you now. I will,
Mhm,
hand in hand, we got this journey. Let's go on it together.
mhm.
Not discounting that or forgetting about your younger self. It's about acknowledging that it's part of your
Mhm.
makeup, and that younger self will always be there with you. It's just now about you stepping into that next phase and guide and just holding that hand and say, I got you. That's it.
I love that. That's actually an exercise that I do with my clients is when they have something that, because, um, food issues mirror life issues. And that's most of the work that I do has nothing to do with food. It's
Mm.
actually all just about your mindset and where you are. And when women have a lot of regret or something is holding them, then I say, write a letter to your past self and validate her, because we are coming from compassion now and not guilt anymore. And say, I got you. Like,
Mm.
you're in the past. Thank you for being there, but I let you go now, and then you can move on. And I love that sentiment. Like, you're not erased. You're not making excuses for what you did. You're
Yeah.
accepting and acknowledging and taking responsibility, but you're saying, okay, thank you. I'm not you. I'm now an evolved version of you, and I'm moving forward and bringing us to the next stage.
Next. Yeah, exactly. And speaking of like next stage, I know we've been speaking a lot about food, but I'm curious to know about your journey in Berlin. How do you see any differences, when you left South Africa, coming to Berlin? Because for us, it was like getting used to a whole lot of new produce now. Even the bread and milk was different. Did you guys
Okay.
also have a similar experience, coming from South Africa into Germany? And how was your relationship with food and just the environment?
So my relationship with food, I think that the move really like amplified or shone a light on how healed I was, because suddenly food was a bit annoying, because where it would take up my whole day or my whole thought process, now I was so busy with other things. I was like, I don't want to cook lunch right now. Like, this is annoying. And so I realized, I was like, wow, that's awesome. Like, something so stressful like moving countries has shown me that I really am truly healed, and that's awesome. And I feel like everybody can get there.
Mhm.
But then from a cultural shift, wow. Wow. Germany is so different culturally. And that was a massive thing for me. And I struggled a lot in the beginning. Like,
Mm.
and I took it as a challenge to Germanify myself, because it really taught me tolerance, patience. I don't know if you know the let them theory, Mel Robbins, let them.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
So I use that a lot, and I feel like that's helped me in other areas of my life. Is like, let them do them that I don't understand and makes me feel uncomfortable, but let me, because I'm in control of my responses, let me, handle it my way. And so that was quite a learning experience. And one of the biggest things is learning the language. I learned the history about Germany. I really tried to immerse myself in the culture. And the language is such a big one, because it's not just about communicating. The mindset and the mentality is so intertwined with the language. Because, for example, like Fernweh, how I say it, there was a word that exists in German that doesn't exist in English. Or
English,
the
yeah.
way that they say, they don't they don't say nice to meet you. That doesn't exist. They say like, I excite myself. And so also if they want to say like, oh, that's such a great idea, you won't say that. In German, you say, yeah, I find that good. So, I mean, that means exactly the same thing. But in South
Yeah,
Africa, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like in German, yeah, I find that a good idea. So you
yeah,
have
okay,
to
yeah, it's just okay, yeah. Like not
exactly.
overplaying it instead, or overexcited about something.
No.
But yeah,
And the
yeah, good
biggest
idea, sure.
compliment, um, well, actually, this was another thing that I learned about Germany, which is so cool, is that I saw Germany as Oktoberfest and beer and pretzels.
Mm,
I didn't see it as this amalgamation of all these different subcultures, and they are so strong. Like, different villages 20 kilometers apart will have different traditions, different foods,
mm.
different holidays, different dialects. And so the area that my husband is from, Swab, how do you say in English? In
No,
German,
say it in German. It's
in
fine.
German, it's Schwabenland, which is like
Schwabenland.
Swabian land. So
So your
he's
husband is from Germany.
yes.
Okay, okay.
So he's from the specific part of Germany,
Oh,
which
okay, okay.
actually is where Mercedes is from.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
So,
so that area is very famous for being super hardworking, super
okay.
grounded, very humble, very like old school Afrikaans vibes, like
Okay,
family,
staunch. Yeah, staunch
like
vibes.
staunch.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not
yeah.
like designer stuff. They just have their
They have their way of living, and that's it.
exactly.
It's like the
And so,
Quebecers, yeah, like rural Quebec, the
okay,
French immersion people. They like that's their way.
very like
Yeah.
grounded and yeah. And so the biggest compliment in Swabian is nicht schlecht, which means not bad. Like that is the ultimate compliment. If you say, "Oh, how was my food?" Not bad. That is like the best compliment you can receive.
Standards, yeah.
If
Like
you are
standards.
climbing to the top of Mount Everest and you're looking at this gorgeous view, they will say, "Not bad." Like, I mean, as a South African, it's very difficult to wrap my head around that. And then also, I was learning German, and because the dialects are so different, they speak Swabian. They don't speak German, which is very different. And even the Swedes, sorry?
I get it. Like each country, like in South Africa also, English
But
is
not so
spoken,
much
but
in
very,
South Africa.
very different English. I would know where somebody comes from just by the accent or just
No,
the
but
way
that's
they
the
speak.
accent, right? The
But just the way
dialect,
they speak,
yes,
as well. Like Durban English is completely different to Joburg English, you know.
definitely. Except, yes, yeah. But I mean, they prefer speaking English to like
Oh,
German
okay.
because they either speak Swabian or English.
Okay.
They even have a saying. They say, "Wir machen alles außer Hochdeutsch," which means we can do everything except German. So, yeah, big culture shock, big learning shock. But I learned German and Swabian now. Now I can speak
Nice.
Swabian. Thank goodness.
Amazing. Yeah, we felt that when we visited Berlin as well. It's such a melting pot.
Oh no, but see, Berlin is now in the north. I'm
just saying, yeah, like coming to Germany, and look, I've been to Munich as well, and now our first time to Berlin. Like I have a friend also from South Africa now living in Berlin as well. And he loves it, right? Because him and his family, they absolutely love it there. And like you said, the perception of Germany is kind of harsh, but there's also the soft side of them that they're very accepting. They're very what's the word I'm looking for?
No, absolutely.
They welcome you with open arms, no problem, right? It's your mindset. It's how you feel when you experience or go into another culture or another city. It's what you make of it as well. So if you're confident in your own self, somebody else will feel that, right? If you're feeling a bit anxious and somebody's not going to actually interact with you, but if you're confident, like you said, moving countries taught us that you have to be confident in your own self. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Yes, confident and very tolerant. But yeah, you're so right. Like Germans are at first cold, but when you get through that wall, they are so hospitable. They are so generous. They are so reliable. There are so many parts of the German culture that are absolutely fantastic that I really feel like South Africans need to adopt. They are so punctual. Like they are so reliable, the way that, and they also just follow the rules, which is part of respect in their culture. Because if you're not following the rules, it's disrespectful to everyone. Because if we all follow the rules, then we all live in a society that's orderly. And it's just fantastic. As soon as I landed in Germany now, we go up the escalator and there's a rule. So there's also all these different unspoken rules in the society. It's called Selbstverständlichkeit, which means like you should just know it. Like nobody's telling you this rule. It's just a rule. Society. And so I get to, and one of the rules is on the escalator, you always stand on the right. If you're walking, you walk up on the left. But if you're not walking, then you stand on the right. And I've even heard adults scolding their children, saying, rechts stehen, links gehen, like stand on the right. And so as I land in the airport, I go up the escalator and I take a video and I'm like, tell me you're in Germany without telling me you're in Germany. Everybody is standing on the right. No questions asked. And I just think that's so awesome. I love that. I mean, obviously you're an individual person, but when you're in a society and you can all follow the rules together and cooperate, everything just operates so much better.
So funny you said that.
Really enjoyed that Germany.
So funny you say that because also in Canada, everything, we drive on the right, everything is right. So you kind of like train yourself, your brain to stay on the right. Like you said, going up stay right, pass left. So growing
Yes.
up in South Africa, it's stay left, pass right.
No, but we don't even do that in South
No, it
Africa. Just
no,
stand
no,
everywhere.
we stay away. But
Like
like,
we sit in the fast lane at 60 kilometers an hour.
but a funny story, like because I hired a car, and my first like exit was to the right. I'm like, okay, should I have to remember? I'm not in Canada anymore. I've got to stay to the left of the road. So,
Yes.
but after a while, because of muscle memory, it comes back to you. But
Yes.
like you said, it's so important that we all follow that. Uh, it's not like a rule like you have. Oh, if you don't follow a rule, you get punished. No, it's just like it's like a society rule, and everybody
Yes.
gets along with it. That's it.
Absolutely. It's like there's lots of rules. On a Sunday, you don't make noise. It's
Mhm.
and
Downtime.
everybody just follows the rule. You stop making noise at 10. Like you recycle like this. It's just like, and it just makes everything so much easier. I really have to say.
Yeah.
So
No,
I love that.
I hear you. I think we come we have similar ideologies and how things should be. I think that's where we aligned. I think that's why we're also connected in that way, not physically, but in that aura type. You know, we could have the same mindset, and I think that's what, like you said, when you put yourself out there in terms of that way, you attract the people that, like to say, your tribe. You attract the people that are meant for you in that way, and you only learn that when you go through things in life. And I'm not advocating for you to go to traumatic events, but it's just those lessons that you take out of those events that kind of like put you in a good
Absolutely.
place.
It's like when you own those lessons more. I
Yeah,
think when you,
yeah,
instead of just letting those things happen to you, you own them
mm,
and you learn from them. And as you said, being your authentic self, I think that is a superpower. When you can step into your most authentic self and hold your boundaries, and, that just garners respect from other people. Because when you look at somebody that has healthy boundaries, that's not pushing people away. People admire them.
mhm.
And so when you step into your authentic self, you can connect with people organically that do that too. And it's fantastic. I have to agree with you.
Right. Yeah, I know we can talk about this the entire day. It's like a
We
never
can.
ending time. But no, just tapering down and winding down the podcast. Looking back at your journey, what has something taught you about, your self-compassion and, just being kind to yourself?
Um, I think that self-respect is the highest form of self-love. And I think when you when you look at that like lens of yourself from the outside, like as if you were in a movie and the audience was screaming at you like, leave that guy, or like move countries or do that
Yeah,
thing. It's like when you look at it from that lens, then you can see yourself as a journey more, and that every day is an opportunity to give yourself love and respect. And that, yeah, is how I've changed the way I see myself. I actually have compassion now for myself, and I didn't
that's
before.
awesome. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well done. No, I genuinely, it's a hard journey. It's a long journey, and you have to also acknowledge when you do those things for yourself, it's awesome, and you have to pat yourself on the back for that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And for you, what is your wild journey?
Mhm.
What is your biggest takeaway of self-compassion, or yeah.
I think similar to yours, I think I've learned to be a bit more kinder to myself. Perfection was something that has always been part of my makeup, and if I don't get it right, then I feel anxious about something, or if I make a mistake, I kind of I am hard on myself. Whereas now I kind of accept that yes, I am a human being. I am gonna make mistakes. I'm not gonna get it right all the time. I'm not gonna be the best communicator or I'm not going to get my message out or the way I want it to be. And that's okay. But I'm learning from uh, every opportunity or every scenario or every fight or every argument. It doesn't matter. There's a learning in everything that we do. So that's what I take out of that the journey that I've been on is there's lessons out of everything that we do.
You're so right. It's turning your mistakes from judgment into like a fail
Yeah,
learn move
yeah,
instead of mistake, shame, judgment,
exactly.
spiral.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So that's the lesson I take out of everything.
that's
And for
a great lesson.
thank you for that. And whoever's listening to that, if you're in that moment, yeah, just I always advocate for being kind to yourself. It, it's a superpower that we don't really think we have, but we do have, and we have to
I
learn to accept that. And if somebody's listening to this and feeling stuck, and especially with anxiety, with food and binge eating, what would you gently remind them of?
um I would say that nothing has gone wrong. Nothing has gone wrong. That's the first thing, is nothing is wrong with
Mm,
you. Everything is okay. And I'm not worried about you, and you shouldn't be worried about you. It's now taking that food and putting it back in order, because food is now this top priority in your life, and it's masking everything else, and it's not in its rightful place. And you don't need more strategies. You don't need more information. You don't need more manipulation. You need a relationship with yourself, step by step, day by day, building that trust with your body, connecting back with your body. And it takes time, and that's okay.
I love that.
And
Takes
when you
time.
get there, one more thing, when you get there and you can let go of food, your life will expand a gazillion times.
That's I think most of us actually stem. We get anxious about the moment that something wrong happens, but let's look at we were always trained to look at root cause analysis as tech professionals. That's the
Mhm.
kind of learnings we take. Okay, what's the root cause of all the issue? Let's go back there, and then
That's so true.
everything else gets resolved after that.
Absolutely. And that's also why I have a bit of a bone to pick with other creators online about mindfulness, etc. Because a lot of what they are speaking about is surface level stuff,
Mm,
where this is actually, it's surface level tools for a deeper issue.
mm,
And when you also realize that it's a deeper issue, you can also automatically have more compassion for yourself.
yeah, and that's where my moment came when I understood where all my issues stem from. That's where I learned to be a little bit more kinder to myself.
Fantastic.
But that's the journey we all go on. And if listeners want to get in touch with you, where can they connect with you? How can they connect with you?
Instagram mostly,
Okay,
Bron.Elizabeth. But I'm also on TikTok, YouTube. I have some awesome ab workouts on YouTube. You can follow along. And yeah,
awesome. And I will leave links in the description below to Bronwyn's socials. Check her out, support her journey as well. If you need a bit of coaching, uh, reach out to her and yeah, start your journey today, guys. Don't wait for anything. It's nothing like the present moment that will start the journey and start your healing. But thank you, Bronwyn. I appreciate you taking the time out today. Such an awesome conversation. Like I said, we can go on forever about talking about these things, but I wish you all the best on your journey. I can't wait to see, your social media grow, your presence and your message. And I hope people who are listening today take something out of this. For me, it was just accepting ourselves and to be kind to ourselves. Any last message you want to leave with the listeners?
I think that you are your biggest, your greatest project, yourself, and your health is your greatest investment. So I think that all of those things are worthy pursuits, and growing and learning is never wasted. And yeah, I think that ultimately your confidence comes from keeping the promises to yourself and working on yourself every day. So yeah, that's the message I would leave. But thank you so much. It was so awesome to speak to you, and I loved hearing a bit about your journey. And yeah, I can't wait to keep following along and seeing your podcast grow. It's so awesome.
Thank you so much. But yeah, guys, remember to you know the drill. Like, share, subscribe. It will just help the channel grow, and I can bring you a lot more inspirational people like Bronwyn, and like they're saying, if I'm getting this right in Germany, auf Wiedersehen and Dankeschön.
Cool.